Oh yeah, it's about that time, and just like that, we are live once again. I know y'all are getting tired of us by now, but we about to keep going, motherfucker. This is episode 13 of the Dog Pound presents Unleashed, where we talk all things crypto. Had an interesting week this week. Not as active as others. But the price of Bitcoin is getting lower. Ethereum is even worse, and Litecoin is through the fucking hell right now. No, I'm just playing. But look, it's some good times going on. I am your host, Blockchain Dame. We got a very active crew tonight. They are wide awake today. We got my man Blues, we got Clay, we got Wolf, and we got the special guest of the week, who I'm interested in his name because, and we're going to get into that right after this, but we got Salsa Tequila, guys. What the hell is up, Salsa Tequila? I like the profile pic. What I wanted to ask, first of all, how are you feeling right now, man? How you doing today, David?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm feeling great.
Yeah. No, thank you for being on the show. Now, what I want to ask is, how in the hell did you get the name Salsa Tequila? Because I'm from Texas, bro, and it's a lot of Hispanic culture here. So, are you anywhere around here, or like just like salsa and tequila?
Nah, a lot of people.
He said, "I'm not even making."
A lot of people think I'm Mexican, but I was actually listening to that song. It's called Salsa Tequila, and I got the name.
Okay.
I could link it. It's actually it's actually a decent song, man. Just like Salsa Tequila.
We're gonna put a link in the episode comments.
Hell yeah, dude.
By the way, as some people may know, we have just hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all for that, because we have great people on the show like that, and we just got the community function on our YouTube channel, so we can post things, we can interact with you guys. It's something that they give to people with over 1,000. So I guess we're kind of a big deal now. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing. Anyway, so look, we're gonna keep it going, but let's get back to my man Salsa Tequila. Now, of course, like I said, we always have good people on the show, very popular people. But I was looking through your profile and everything, and I noticed that you said that you discovered Bitcoin in 2015 when PayPal locked your account.
Yep.
So could you tell us a little bit about that? Because we like to get a nice background on people and how did they get into this. So
yeah, all right. So basically, back in 2012 to 2015, I was using a video game to do some gambling, and I was actually making money on the video game and selling it for money in real life, right? And and for that part, I was actually using PayPal as a payment processor, right? And I've had some real issues with them. They locked my account back in 2014. I got it unlocked, and they locked me again, and I had to deal with them for months. They did not want to unlock it. They didn't like my business model. So I had to switch, and I discovered Bitcoin, right? A lot of people online would take Bitcoin as payment. I was using Coinbase back then to receive payments, and then I would sell it and transfer it to my bank account. And that's how I got started with Bitcoin. Unfortunately, though, back then I did not find Bitcoin to be an investment. I was seeing it as basically as a payment method, right? So I got them, I sold them. But yeah, that's how I discovered it.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, everybody has their own little interesting story, right? So that's definitely a unique one that we've heard on the show. We haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, pretty sure that's pretty unique.
So do you dabble into like the Forex and then the traditional stocks as well, or are you pretty much primarily just crypto?
Primarily crypto. I never really traded anything else. I want to get started with Forex, but it's different. It's not like Bitcoin and crypto where you get liquidated and you cannot lose, you cannot get a debt or something. There's some black swan events, and I made an Oanda account recently, and I want to paper trade a bit before I get into it. But yeah, I'll be trading Forex soon.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to that. So, like I said, I was doing my research. I get the scoop on the guys before they come on the show. So I was looking, and you have links at the top of your page for all of your, like, I know you do streams. I know you do, whatever else. Yeah. And I saw a link on there that says to your journal. Now, I have a question about that. A lot of people keep journals. A lot of great traders suggest the keeping of journal. But I noticed that just reading through your tweets, your tweets are essentially, your whole Twitter is essentially your journal as well. So is there any difference between your tweets and your real journal? And if so, like what's the main difference? Like,
well, basically what I do is whenever I take a trade, I post a series of tweets on Twitter, right? So I do like threads, and you guys can see just going through my feed, you'll see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What the fuck are these numbers, right? Well, that's that's some trades that I use as a journal. And whenever I enter a trade, I start a new trend, right? What am I watching? Why did I enter? Why did I cover? If I cover early, I'll write it and I close the trade or whatever. And after the trades are done, I just link them in my Telegram. It's really easy to go back through all my trades. I can do Control F. I can choose the date that I want to look back to. So it's a way for me to facilitate journaling when I trade.
Okay, so you kind of use Twitter within your journal, and you just supplement it with all of that stuff. So it's that's pretty lit.
Yeah, and it had a pretty good success, right? I mean, my follower has been growing, so definitely people like it. That's how I find it useful. Of course, there's some stuff I can't put every single details sometimes, but for the big picture, it's really decent. It's really good for journaling.
Yeah, I think that's a slightly different approach to journaling. And, you know, people are always digging tweets up from people 9 years ago and shit, you know, famous people, stars or whatever. So maybe when you get famous one day and people gonna dig up these successful trades, and you can tell them that, hey, man, I've been on with this shit. So you just said that that's how a lot of people find you out, and that's what makes you unique. Now, Blues, who's also a co-host on the show, he's the one that mentioned on having you. How did you find Salsa Tequila, Blues? Like, what do you like about him?
Yeah, we were in the same Discord group, and yeah, so we started talking, we started exchanging there, and I like the way he progressed. Like you can see him progress in life, like he made the good improvements on overall. Like
I was definitely a degenerate.
He's becoming more, even that aspect, like the risk management aspect. So he's quite a guy that wants to learn. It's not like someone that copies trades or something like that. So that's good. That's good to see.
He's in his own lane. Yeah, that's most definitely good to see.
Hopefully.
So we got a wide range of people from the geographical wise, right? We have Blues, he's over there in France. We have people in Australia. We have people in the EU. I'm over here in the USA. So are you a Canadian by chance?
Yep, I'm from
so I saw. Exactly. The reason why I'm asking that is because when we posted that we were having you on the show, I saw you talking to Monk, who was our last guest, great guest by the way, and another commenter, and you were saying that you love. So how is the crypto scene in Canada and Toronto? Like, what do you see? What have you seen change over the last couple of years? Is it crypto friendly or what?
I'm honestly really not active in real life. I don't tell many people I trade. Most people don't even know I have anything to do with crypto, Bitcoin trading. So yeah, but there was definitely some. I think there's one guy who's pretty proactive in Montreal. I think Francis Pouliot, his name. But I don't know much what's up in Canada that much for the crypto space.
Do they have like a lot of groups, a lot of meetups and stuff? Is there any?
Oh, I never went to a meetup. Man, there's really nobody who knows I trade almost. Only a couple friends of mine.
Is that out of embarrassment because of what it is?
No, it's not an embarrassment. It's just I'm doing my thing, and I'm really fine. Like I don't really necessarily want people to know because it can always go to shit, right?
Sure.
And I don't know when.
Especially when you have people say, "Hey, have you got a hot tip for me?" or,
exactly.
What should I invest my money in?
And when you tell people you trade Bitcoin and you're in a bear market, right? They assume you're fucked whenever the price drops from like 20K to 3K. There's some ways to make money when that happens. and it's a bit
Dude,
annoying,
they
like,
always would be like, so yeah, how is that
yeah.
treating you lately? Like, motherfucker,
Or-
hey, bro.
Yeah, or on the opposite, if Bitcoin pumps, they'll be like, "Holy shit, you're rich, man!" And they're gonna have some kind of expectations,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. So yeah, I just keep that
Exactly.
to myself.
Either these days they're gonna think you're really rich if it's pumping, or they're gonna think you're really broke, or like as in right now when they
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly feel why you don't let people know that you trade that, and
But
then if it's
honestly-
not either one of those assumptions, they just assume it just leads to a bunch of talk that you don't probably necessarily want to get into that day.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
man.
not like I would tell people, but I feel like it's pointless. I'm just doing my thing, and I don't feel the need to tell people.
Yeah, and that's kind of
But
interesting, man.
Yeah.
Because it's still even in these days how popular crypto has gotten in the last year or so, and how much more mainstream has gotten. You know, on all of the main finance sites like Yahoo Finance, CNN, all of that. You still they're even adding tickers to there, and some people still embrace that privacy aspect of it, and are true to the I'm still in the shadows trading and stuff, which is cool. I have no problem with it, and I know people have multiple reasons. But when do you think that people when do you think that people will be just more open with it, just like how it is with just like regular stocks and forex? Like, when do you think people will be proud to be like, yeah, I sell Bitcoin and what, motherfucker? Like, yeah.
Well, obviously, if you go full time, you'd probably tell people, right? But right now,
Exactly, right.
Myself, I'm a student, right? So if I tell people, a lot of people are gonna ask me to teach them and stuff, which can take a lot of time, which I wouldn't mind, right? If there's some friends, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe when you go full time and you turn it into a business, and you're sure that's what you want to do, then you start telling people.
Then it just makes sense, then, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel you, man. So before we get, I know that you have awesome charting skills, and you have good outlooks on price movement and these things, and everybody loves to see the charts and live looks at things. But before we get into that, I had a couple of questions that I want to ask you and my co-host, my crew. It's about two main features that I want to ask. So one that I saw a bunch of guys chatting up about a couple of days ago is, and it may not even be available in your area right now, is we all know that Robinhood, the app Robinhood, they allow you to trade stocks and options and even crypto in some places commission free, and their interface is sweet. But they just introduced that they're going to be offering checking and savings accounts. And they're going to be doing 3% interest on checking and savings through them a year annually, and it has no fees, no foreign transaction fees or whatever. Basically, some fucking game changing shit. I think the average is like 0.09% that you would get on the savings. So one of the main exactly. See, so 3% is just like fucking crazy. So one of the reasons why I'm mentioning this is because it's kind of a shy. First of all, they haven't launched yet. It's coming in January, but it's a shy away from one of the main reasons is you won't have a physical bank to walk in. Everything is going to be 24/7 online support. Blah 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 blah. But how do you? Even though it's not necessarily crypto related, is this another move that could take a big hit on the regular banks as well, similar to how crypto and the people in crypto think it's giving blows to the bank? Like,
well, I mean, like I sort of saw a little bit about it, and apparently there's claims that this is all bullshit. So there's claims that the effectively what they're doing, right, is they're buying securities and whatnot, and then sharing a portion of the proceeds. But apparently that's not covered it's not insured. There's a lot of there's a little bit of back and forth at the moment if what Robinhood's saying is actually true, or if they can pull it off. Yeah, so I don't know too much about it. That's just the high level stuff that I've been reading.
Yeah, they said that up to 25,000 is insured by the FDIC or whatever the because that was one of the questions that I saw people asking a lot as well. But I mean, it seems to me like you don't have to have no minimum, and that was another question that people were asking was how can they afford to give 3%? annually to some accounts, and they were saying things like they keep a low overhead of workers, like 300 employees and all of this stuff. But I definitely think it's definitely, if it is successful and if they do say what it is, it's another blow to banks. Whether just speaking in the traditional banks like the JP Morgan Chase and stuff, because I mean you're just not seeing that 3% anywhere with no fees. I mean, I know it's not even available to the whole world, but I definitely signed up for it. So yeah, I'll tell y'all how that goes. Most def. But I know that you mentioned Coinbase earlier as well, Salsa Tequila, and they just teamed up with PayPal. Did any of you guys see that news?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So they're going to implement instant withdrawal to any PayPal account from Coinbase. And they will also, I guess that's pretty much the main thing. Now, does that make up for all of the fees and all of that bullshit on Coinbase?
No, doesn't change much.
I don't use Coinbase anymore.
Yeah, I've never had to use Coinbase, so.
I personally use it sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's good as long as you don't use the credit card. You're okay because there are no big fees. But big deal.
Well, these days they're not even letting you use credit cards with this shit anyway. Like some major banks have been canceling that shit just in general. Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, in Canada, most banks won't allow you to buy on Coinbase.
Oh yeah. Canada.
Like in general, period, like even through like an ACH wire transfer or something like that?
I've had a few instances where they've like flagged it and then they've called me and asked what it is. I definitely can't like withdraw from there straight to my bank anymore either.
Hell no. Damn. Well, yeah. What did they say? OTC, whatever the fuck it is. If you know somebody that's trying to buy $1 million in Bitcoin. Yeah, straight cash, homie. Just like Randy Moss said. So if y'all don't know by now, that is the voice of my guy Trader Man. He has joined us again after his 2-week absence. What's been up? And I think we have 2 Canadians on the show today, right? Or I don't know if you Canadian, man, but I know you live there.
I don't know if we count that. That's up to them.
He said that's up to them. But that's what's up. So I mean, I think now is a good time to I guess kind of get into some charting and stuff and see some of you guys.
I think there are more questions.
Oh, there's more questions? All right, well let's go. Yeah, what's going on?
Clay,
in the chat?
I don't know if Clay.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. It's early. Early.
I think you got some questions.
Hey Jules,
you told me you got some questions.
Yeah. So like you came onto the scene pretty hot, mind the pun. How long have you been trading for? And did you like just take it all in by yourself? Like,
yeah, all by myself, pretty much since 2017. I got wrecked really fucking hard in 2017 margin trading, but I was making so much money on my shit coins that I didn't trade that much back then. But still,
damn, you were trying to short the bull run, bro?
Nah, I was just clueless. You're clueless. You're in the bull run. You're euphoric. You make a shit ton of money on shit coins that go like 200x. So whenever you margin trade, you don't really want to learn properly. You just DJ and gamble, right? So I lost quite a bit of money in 2017 doing that, but still ended up in massive profit because of shit coins. And then in 2018, when the bear market hit, my shit coins started to drop. It's where I got more serious. I started learning, and for the past basically since beginning 2018, I've been margin trading more aggressively, if you want. Like I've been trying to learn. I've been actually studying and taking it more seriously.
Did you start with price action? Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, mostly. Basically, I use a lot of concepts. I use price action. I used a lot of concepts are about trapped players. So I like, you guys see my Twitter, I often fade moves, right? Whenever it drops, I try to look for a long, but there's some certain setups that over time prove profitable when you take them properly with good risk management. And that's mostly what I do. So basically range trading. Yeah. So I use various concepts. I monitor many exchange as well for the confluence, but yeah, price action, liquidity, those kind of concepts mainly.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I mean, I have another question for you. Like, when you log into Twitter, do you get influenced by others' analysis? Like
Oh, I don't look
you
at
have
Twitter
your
anymore.
own bias, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you
I never,
open Twitter and you see another account you like or you follow.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
open another.
There's some people I like, but I never try to take trade decisions based off of Twitter. When I log on Twitter, it's mostly to watch some memes and shit post these days. But yeah, I don't like it because I got in 2017. I would look at Twitter and I would try to form a bias from whatever I see from the people I thought were knowledgeable, but it's not like if you copy someone's trade, you got to know how they manage their risk to be profitable, right? So in my opinion,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
sometimes go to Twitter, sometimes I find some stuff useful. Cryptorca sometimes posts some cool stuff with the Bitcoin short, Bitcoin longs. I look at that, but I don't form a bias from Twitter people.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you're not following any of Main's charts or anything, right?
That's a goddamn lie. He totally is.
I mean, I heard his squiggly lines have like 100% strike rate, right?
Except for today.
99.9.
Oh, definitely not today. I just see.
That was
Jesus.
some,
Do you-
that was some
Are,
bullshit.
are you still holding some shit coins right now?
Nah, I dumped them all. Whenever Bitcoin broke the yearly low, I just dumped them all and didn't look back. I think I still have the tweet. Bitcoin was at 5.6K. I woke up. I said, okay, just woke up. Bitcoin massively broke down. Just dumped all my shit coin with market order. Could be a mistake. Do whatever you want to do. And yeah, I wasn't interested anymore. Like if Bitcoin goes for, personally, I believe that most of the shit coins will go to zero. There's just too many.
Yeah.
But it's just my opinion.
Oh, so
right?
what did you say? Short every altcoin on BitMEX? That's what you just said?
Yes, this investment advice.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, bro. All the coins on BitMEX are Ponzi's.
I mean, I'm not talking necessarily about the BitMEX shit coins, but when you look at coin market cap, right? How many shit coins are there? There's many thousands of them, and most of them are just fucking scams, right? The developer teams are not even active anymore since the price are not going up. It's literally like a pump and dump scheme, right? The developers teams were super active, promising, and whenever the bear market starts hitting, you see that they were in for the money and they don't give a fuck about their project.
I can't believe people actually put money into some of these coins. Like,
I lost a lot from holding them.
I mean, there are a lot of coins right now that are bailing out. Like I've seen a project like refunding his investors lately, like 2 days ago. I don't remember the name, but I'll search it right now. So yeah,
that's definitely
like even the Ethereum Classic team like stopped their development. So yeah,
I mean, you got to think like there's nobody. There's I mean, everything is just going to shit right now, and I'm pretty sure their funds are just running low on some of this development on this shit, so they got to call it an end. But I wanted to ask you, speaking of resources running low, I mean, and a big topic lately has been the mining part, right, of Bitcoin, and how can some people continue to afford mining, especially when we just broke yearly lows. Do you mine at all, Jules, or?
I don't really follow that much the mining. I know as a fact that like if I was a big miner, I would be very scared if the price goes too low and like my production cost is just not profitable.
Yeah. And,
so I guess
do you mine, and how are you handling it lately? That's all I was asking if you were.
I'm mostly just trading the charts, man. But yeah, mining capitulation is definitely something scary. I think I've seen some CoinGeek capitulation articles yesterday. So yeah, some miners are definitely capitulating. Bitmain is the biggest, I believe. So if they capitulate, it could go to shit, right? But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, man.
So I have a question.
Just to ask. Yeah, I do too. After you do, so yeah, say your question first.
I don't know too much about mining or any of that shit, as you guys know. I don't really pay attention to most of that, but I saw a good point. I think Altcoin Psycho brought it up, and he's like, "Do you think like a lot of these miners who are investing, I don't even know, hundreds of thousands, maybe even more, into setting up these very intense mining rigs, do you think their intention was just to cut shit as soon as it started, like stop crossing break even? Like a lot of these guys may have been mining from ages ago when Bitcoin was well below the price it is now. And yes, they've expanded to a point where maybe break even is 3,500 US and they're burning money. But do you not think at least some of these miners have accumulated money, accumulated gains, and it's okay for them to run at a loss for a while? Like I understand, yeah, maybe if your break even cost is 4K, you're burning money now. But I mean, if you've been mining for 5 years, I'm pretty confident these people are up all time.
It's exactly the same. In my opinion, it's exactly the same as trading, right? And holding coins. So, like the retail miner, so to speak, of course, these guys are going to be shutting down rigs and whatnot and moving on, just as retail investors are going to start dumping bags and taking losses. But you nailed it, man. Exactly the same thing, right? Like some of these guys have been mining this shit since, fuck, man, who knows when. So for these guys to run at a loss, it means nothing. Just as, you know, some of us to hold on to Bitcoin and whatnot at these prices means nothing.
I mean, even the cost of mining one Bitcoin is exaggerated because it's not really like when we see it in the headlines, like we see it's 4K for one Bitcoin, because even the difficulty is changing whenever the hash rate is changing. So mining Bitcoin would be even cheaper. So yeah, so like Wolf said. Surely the retail will stop mining, but big investors, I don't think so.
I don't know too much about it, but I have a feeling a lot of these people, they're not sweating too much. I'm sure some of them are, but they have to have taken this into account before they made a capital investment of that size. But then again, who knows? A lot of people in crypto made huge capital investments with no planning whatsoever. So
pretty sure a lot of them were short-edged as well.
There's greed.
Like,
yeah, definitely agreed.
So I got a question about this. So we have all types of levels of people, as you may say, that listen to the show. So at a very high level, can somebody explain what is the dangers of less people mining on the Bitcoin network? Like what does that do to the network? What does it do?
51 attack.
What did you say?
That's the 51% attack. Like if you have the more than 51% of the hash rate of the hash rate, so you could attack the Bitcoin network. So it could harm.
So it makes it. So one of the effects is it makes it more susceptible to hacks, right?
You still need too much power. Like right now, you can do
the miners like
a lot of money. Yeah.
If there's less miners or mining, or what?
Less miners, less secure. Like that's the
yeah. I mean, it becomes more centralized, and that's not the point of Bitcoin.
Yeah, like for an extreme example, right? Like if you have, let's say, 10 million people mining Bitcoin, and all of a sudden you have 10 people mining Bitcoin, well, it would be much easier to, I guess, attack the network if there's only 10 people mining, right? That's like an extreme example. But I mean, like as far as I'm aware, like we're not in any danger of, being too low that somebody could actually do anything about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
It wouldn't be profitable if you attack it because you'd need so much hash power to do it. So it would cost you a lot to do something like that would benefit you much less. So it's not profitable.
Yeah. So another question I have, and this is something that's been a hot topic lately with all of the decentralized exchanges. First of all, I know that you trade, you do your majority of your trading on BitMEX, margin trading, Jules. But do you have any interest in decentralized exchanges? And if so, like, what are your views on them?
I had some shit coins in IDEX, right? And then and then I had a bad experience. I think they started asking for KYC, so I just dumped all my shit coins on it and I got out of it. I had an account in BCO and I put some tokens in staking, like in custody for staking, like a year ago. No, about a year ago. So it must be unlocked by now. But yeah, I never really used them that much aside from IDEX where I traded a bit. But yeah, I think it's a great idea, man. if you can truly make a decentralized exchange work, and it's truly decentralized, like no KYC bullshit and stuff like that, sure, I would be all for it, man.
Yeah, I think that's one of the. I think that's going to be one of the big divides of it, because I mean everybody's going to say decentralized, blah blah blah, and you know, but if it's going through somebody like Airbnb, I mean, like I said Airbnb, like Binance, I mean they're gonna have to do those type of checks, right? I mean,
yep, I don't know how they're gonna make it, but is it really gonna be a decentralized exchange, or it's just a buzzword? That's the part where I'm skeptical.
That's the thing. We don't know yet. So.
And I think that, and we don't know yet, and I think that's one of the major things. I think, and you know, it's little information like that I feel like they withhold to the very end. Like they're showing us all of these sweet ass videos and shit of the exchange working, and everybody's getting all excited to it. And I think the fine print hasn't been released yet, right? So I'm curious to see how that all plays out as well too. Yeah, man. But
true.
Yeah, but let's get into some fucking charts. We got two great chart guys here.
Wait, Dane, just before we get into charts, real quick. All
right.
I just saw something pop up. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. I don't know anything about this, but what's this shit about cryptocurrency enthusiasts can pay $10 million for a 12-night stay in space?
I mean, is that only available to us, or is it? I mean, I'm pretty sure they taking that money from anybody.
I'm about to drop this link in chat just so anyone wants to read it. I don't know anything about it. I literally just saw it then, but apparently they've already got 26 reservations. Space station's going up in.
All you need to do is be Steph Curry and say that they didn't go to the moon, and then you get invited to NASA.
There you go, right?
Yeah, right.
What the fuck?
I mean, I live right by that shit. So if NASA is talking about something, send me that invite. I'm 30 miles away.
Oh shit. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
You're just gonna roll up on site, be like, "Yo, I heard you're taking people to the moon."
Yeah, it's right by SpaceX. SpaceX got one of their offices right by it. I used to work.
You'll probably get a better deal at SpaceX because they're still experimenting and shit.
It'll be you, Ian Bellina, and that guy they done the rap video with. Just already.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're gonna have, like, you know how they got the picture of the dude in the Tesla that's in space. I'm gonna be right next to him and shit.
Yeah. Well, they'll tell you that, like, we'll send you for free. We just can't promise you'll come back.
We can't promise. Yeah, right.
I'd like to take my shitcoin bags with me. I'm all good.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guinea pig on that shit. But yeah, that is interesting though. But like I said, I'm pretty sure they taking that from Floyd Mayweather, from anybody who ready to give those money up. So. But so where do we have any questions in the chat, by the way?
No questions in the chat.
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Yeah. So we do encourage that. So if you guys are listening, don't be afraid to talk in there. Everything is welcome. Funny questions, dumb questions, short questions, tall questions, it don't matter. So look, where's shit going right now, man? Because I saw that we just had a nice little plunge today. Well, not really. All of these, you know, it's so much what do you call it? So much price difference between all of these fucking exchanges that I really don't know what the price is at these days. I mean, it's like the spreads are crazy these days. Has anybody else noticed that?
Yeah, I didn't.
Or has it always been?
So.
Yep, I think whenever, like, all the exchange except Bitfinex had broken the yearly low yesterday night, which was kind of annoying because, like, so you got new lows everywhere, but Bitfinex is like the outlier.
So how do you play that whenever we break a low on one exchange but not the other? Like, what do you look at in that thing? Do you play it differently based on which exchange it is, or what?
I'm of course more skeptical because the price action. I really don't like trading when there's big difference between exchanges. So yesterday I played it. I was just more careful, right? I got in, and then whenever I see something I start disliking, price action starts being weak. I think basically yesterday I was long, and at around 7 a.m. right before the London session, we started like looking really weak, and I got a short signal, so I just closed all my longs and I went to sleep. And I don't like it when there's some big difference between exchanges. It's just weird. Like, you don't know which one to to put more importance in.
Now, I noticed that you mentioned the London Open. Do you usually play most of your trades between certain region opens, or is London Open your favorite one for a reason, or what's going on
For
with that?
Bitcoin, I found out that like around 1 hour after the London Open, oftentimes it gives some good signals. For example, like the first hour, it's just a time zone I like to trade because I've had some nice trades on it in the past. But basically, it often starts with like price going one way, and if price starts reversing, maybe gives a nice little consolidation block breakdown, and you can short the retest. It's a really nice setup that I've seen in the past. So it's just a time
Now,
zone.
what's the so I know, Maine, you're a price action man yourself. So like, is there any science behind that? Is there like what have you guys found out from that?
If you ask the ICT fanboy in me, I would say the algorithm delivers price at very specific times. I think it's more just about like levels of activity, right? When different parts of the world, it's like very common in Forex, right? Like there's certain sessions that have more volume and volatility than others. There's something that I learned from ICT that seems to work. It's worked the last 3 weeks in a row. Like the higher the low of the week will usually form on Tuesday, Wednesday. Is there some sort of science behind that, or is that just because it's early in the week?
I actually noticed that with a friend as well, and not ICT related. Oftentimes it's Wednesday in crypto. I don't know why. Oftentimes,
Forex, he says it's Tuesday, Wednesday in crypto. The last 3 weeks, it's been in Wednesday if you go by UTC time. So I don't know if there's science behind it, but there's definitely something to be said about analyzing time and price at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Like 8 a.m.'s for me in Australia is the open. And obviously, price always mucks around the open. Then 4 p.m. is London Open, and then it normally does it at midnight as well. That's generally like the 3 times when you see the big moves. It's not like on the dot on those hours, but roughly around it. So you can kind of trade around those few hours of the day.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that as well. Yeah, I noticed that. I mean, those hours that you guys speak of is like when my eyes are burning early as fuck in the morning. So it's hard to catch those moves over here. But I definitely have noticed that whenever I am up at those hours making those trades, if, like you just said, Jules, or I think Maine said that if it's moving in one direction, then that's usually around that time. Then that's usually a good indicator of how it could move for the day. But speaking of
price action.
Yeah, just price action.
Like you don't have to stay up for London to trade Bitcoin. Like that's just one time zone that I particularly like. But there's definitely some other opportunities. Like around the daily close, you got the CME open right before, so you get volatility around there as well.
Yeah, most def, man. Well, speaking of closes and directions and all of that stuff, do any one of you guys want to share some stuff on some of your outlooks and where this stuff is going, at least for like a week or something? Yeah, man. I mean, Jules, if you want to, what have you been looking at lately? What are your next moves that you're waiting on? If you want to share your screen, if you don't mind.
For now, I'm really just scalping before the high time frame gives me a signal. The daily looks like shit today, so I'm not gonna take a swing trade long. Yeah, sure, I can share screen. All right.
Yeah, most def, man. The platform is yours, my brother. I'm gonna sip on this tequila, no pun intended. So I got some good shit today.
All right. So, do you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So, ultimately, my buy zone, which was planned for like a while back before we even break down, right, was this blue pivot here, which is on the 3 days, the block right below a swing low. You've got September 17th low here, and you got a nice consolidation block here. So that's what I was looking at for an ultimate bottom. You've got the range high here as well. If we don't, that's where I'm going to look to buy perhaps some spot Bitcoin, which I never put money back in since 2017, but I might consider putting a little bit back if we go there. But yeah, that's what I was looking at in the higher picture. Do you guys have like so basically what I've been doing, if you follow my Twitter, is trading the chop lately. Get in, get out quickly. So do you guys have any questions about what you want me to chart?
I was going to ask you. So it seems like you just mentioned. It seems like a lot of people are getting their fresh fiat ready. Is that what they call it or whatever? And it seems to be most of the people that mention that seems to be the people that have been trading for a while, and then most of their response is, "Well, I haven't bought spot Bitcoin with fresh fiat in a long time." Do you feel like do you kind of get that feeling as well that a lot of people are just waiting to throw their fresh fiat in? A lot of the OG people or a lot of the traders that have been trading more a longer time, and if so, why do you think that? Why do you think that this level coming up is so important for some people?
First of all, I don't know if we're even going to test it, but I have a couple of reasons. I can find them right now. So since you guys see my screen, I'll show you. I had an analogy first with gold, and then I had an analogy with 2014 Bitcoin bear market fractal. So it coincides with a lot of stuff for me. So, well, first of all, if you look at the chart, you see it here, right? You get that consolidation block. So technically, it's a nice support. Second of all, you've got the swing low here, right? So a lot of people are going to panic short, puke if we break that down. And yeah, so you got range high, consolidation block before a move up, right? This was the range right before we move out. So you had a range here, right? Swing high leads to a swing low. You distribute above the high, then you swing below, take out the stop. Whenever you swing back below, like whenever you take out the swing high, you got it even on the micro time frame, but that's distribution for me. So whenever I'm trading short time frames, oftentimes I'll short whenever I see some stuff like that and it closes below the swing high. Sometimes people are going to call this bull flags, but they have low strike rate. Typically, it just dumps and go take the liquidity on the other side. So you get like swing high, swing low here, swing low here. You took out the range low and you moved up. So technically, basically this was the range, right? Range high, range low. You take out the high, you take out the low, and then you consolidate here right before a break out of the range. So this is the consolidation zone that led to the breakout of this whole range. You're following, right?
Yeah, so, most definitely.
Yeah. So this is why I think technically it should be a strong support because you're buying the top of a range, the consolidation on the top of the range before it breaks out. And also,
I think that's a lot of people are liking that level. Correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of people are liking this level because that's the last consolidation and run up before the all-time highs, right? Like before it essentially reached to the all-time highs. Like, well, you know, that's what started the big move, as you can say.
I really personally like the fact that there's a swing low here right before the level, because under and above swing lows, there's liquidity, as I just mentioned. You can see it here, you can see it here. You take the liquidity and you move the other direction oftentimes. So for a trade, if, for example, you take out this particular swing low, I'm just talking hypothetically, right? But if you take out this swing low and you start closing above, it's a good sign that this could be a bear trap, right? So say on the daily time frame, you take it out and you start closing above. You close the day above, that's like a swing failure pattern, which is something I look for, especially in grossly oversold conditions. And since the drop, you really did not have any fucking pullbacks. I posted something on Twitter right here. I think it was right after the drop. I had a short trade and I actually took it and I made like $100 flip because I'm an idiot and I closed too early. But right here, whenever we broke down, you had a really nice short signal. And this is exactly what I'm talking about liquidity-wise, right? So you've got like right here, a very thick consolidation, right? This was a strong support. You had this block right here that we bounced off of quite a few times before you massively break down on a volume increase, right? So this consolidation zone was the thickest part of the block, right? You had many candles that that were taken into this block, and you had that wick that retested it. Whenever you broke down, you came to retest it, and on the daily time frame, which is a time frame I really like for swing trades, you broke down, you just consolidated for 3 days, right? And then this candle took out all the stops above the last 3 days highs and closed below, and that was actually my short signal. And I'm such an idiot that I closed it very early, and like I closed it for $100 move, I think, around this daily low. This was my entry, and then it just fucking nuked. And since then, since
Yeah.
then, you did not have a single.
Maybe it's because, maybe because you were expecting a deviation, like it would go back.
Oh no, it's just that I was looking at little time frames. I don't like to sleep on positions.
Okay.
But I'm an idiot. I definitely need to learn to hold positions for longer, especially when you have like a break. Especially when the bigger time frame gives you a strong short signal. But that's just me fucking up here. I should have held it. But that was a powerful short signal. So if you look at this swing low, if you do something like that, you got a strong consolidation here, strong consolidation here. You got a swing low. You had a swing high, right? 3 daily highs on the daily time frames. You took out all the stops. Closes below, that was your short signal, right? The market took the liquidity above this high. People FOMO longed and got trapped. So it's a strong signal that the people who are trapped here are maybe holding positions that are underwater now and ready to puke. The market reverses on them. So same logic with that swing low. And this is why I look particularly at this box. But it doesn't have to happen, right? This is just my ideal long scenario.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I was talking about an analogy with gold as well, right?
Oh yeah. Let's see that. What you were talking about now. I was curious to hear that.
Analogy. Yeah, so this is something I made like months ago, right before the breakdown, right? So do you guys see it properly? Or is it too tiny?
No,
okay,
we
sure.
can
So this is
I think
gold.
Crypto Orca posted something like this. Like
I took it from Crypto Orca. I actually referred it in the tweet. I could link it in the. I'll link it in the Twitter chat, basically. But this is what I was looking at, and the structure is literally the same. Oh, I don't even have a channel. Yeah. But so basically you have like that little structure here, right? You print a high, lower high, blah, blah, blah. Structurally, it was literally the same as Bitcoin. This was Bitcoin, right? So you can compare gold with Bitcoin. You have a high, low off top, fails to make makes a lower high, absolutely dumps, bought back. So high, lower high, absolutely dumps, but bought back. It tops around here, it tops around here. Then it dumps even deeper. Take out the stops below here. Take out the stops below here. Lower high again. Lower high again. Then you get that kind of consolidation, which is exactly the same as gold, basically, right?
Yeah. It's really
structurally,
similar,
structurally, it's literally the same. You've got that little juicy stock hunt here. That was actually the tether incident. Here, I don't know what it was. I wasn't there in 1994. But yeah, and then you actually dumped, right? So if you look at the structure,
took out that big low that you see.
And I think it was the same reason. And it was the same reason. Like futures launched on gold and then it dumped straight since then. So it's basically the same catalyst. So.
And then it just dumps and slow bleeds without any significant pullback until you hit that zone right below this swing low, which would refer here to this is September's low, right? It's 3227 because it's a linear chart, but this refers to around September's low. So if you look at Bitcoin structurally, on the left you have like a little pivot here that leads to a move up. So this would be a range, right? This low where my pointer is the range low. Then it leads to a range high right here. You take out the stops above here, then you take out the stops below here, and the market moves to all-time high. If you look at what happened with Bitcoin, it's literally the same. You've got a little pivot here, consolidation zone, moves up. You've got a little pivot here, leads to a range high. You take out the range high, then you take out the range low, and the market moves. So this swing low is the one that's referred to here on the chart. So basically this area, if you refer to the gold fractal, which by the way is just a fractal, I'll never take a trade only on that, that would refer to between this pivot and this area here, right? So this is it for the gold fractal. Now, if you look at, for example, Bitstamp in 2014, right? I'll go on the logarithmic chart on the 3 days. If you look at what happened with Bitstamp from the all-time high, the correction was 87% deep, if I'm correct. Yeah, 87% from the 86, I think it was. 86.9% from the top to the bottom, right? So if you look at this year, what would that equate? Of course, the past is not like, doesn't have to play out again. It could go absolutely much deeper. But if you look at what happened the year prior to it, 86.9 from the absolute all-time high. No cheap would be around 2.6K. The average Bitcoin correction is around 84.5, if I'm not wrong. It would be right below this swing low, and it would coincide also within this little consolidation block, right? So a lot of coincidence for me to take a long trade. So I would actually possibly scale in some spot longs, and if we start swinging back above this pivot or having some bullish range, some nice range forming, you take out the lows maybe, I would consider leverage positions in that area.
Yeah, man. That's easy. You just spit out a bunch of numbers, the statistics, and all of that shit. That was a pretty interesting take on that, and the chart is eerily similar to the gold chart. And I know that you're not saying that that's how it has to happen. I mean, that's how it's going to happen. But one interesting thing that I saw, a lot of people are so much in a rush to get the absolute bottom, right, or sell at the absolute top.
Yeah,
well,
when you're leverage trading, don't. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. Well, I was saying that once you showed on the gold chart that once it took out that nice swing and went into the consolidation area, you saw that it had a nice roundabout of price movement that stayed and consolidated in that area before we took back off and got out of that range. So that's just a tip to some people that, I mean, you can still wait for some confirmation in that area that everybody's looking at right now before you start taking your positions.
And definitely wait for a nice range to form and some bullish structure, maybe a breakout if you want to play it safe, especially if you're on leverage. Just don't just blind buy this. If you're on high leverage, you're going to get liquidated, right? If it starts falling and wicking, if you look at Bitfinex, right, in 2014, I think it was the only margin exchange. I'm not sure if BitMEX was around that much, but look at what happened. The margin degens got absolutely fucked because they tried to knife catch. It's the only exchange that went 91% deep. For the record, the difference between 87% and 91% is absolutely massive, right? So say you go to like 86%, right, which was the correction. So from here to the wick, the difference is absolutely disgusting. That's 59% drop deeper than the other exchanges. If that happens at BitMEX, and you're the idiot who actually knife caught this area on cross leverage, you're gonna get liquidated for sure. So definitely, personally, I won't be blind bidding it, okay? Because especially we know that Bitfinex has like 3x leverage maximum, right? BitMEX has like 100x, and a lot of people are fucking degenerates. So personally, I'm too scared to knife catch in this area. I'll look at spot exchange. I'll wait for a range to form. I'll wait for a defined risk setup. But I would understand if some people try it on the leverage, right? I'm not giving investment advice. It could be a good idea. We could also not even go there, right? But personally, if we go there, I'll wait a bit and I'll try to catch it a bit higher, or I'll wait for a range to form in the defined risk.
Just so everyone's clear, this was financial advice from Tequila as well.
Yeah, right. Please use my ref link and use 100x leverage.
He said he don't care, just use that motherfucking ref link.
Yeah, use my motherfucking ref link, guys. I'm broke, please. Please do me a favor. I need your money.
Like I said, we're not paying him to do this show, so he's taking donations.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
So that was a good little. That was Christmas presents. The whole cast, matter of fact, we all need Christmas presents. But so that was a good outlook on BTC. Now I've also seen a lot of people talking about Ethereum as well, and Ethereum had some nice moves. I think it was today. Was 80 that nice price for?
I don't know.
Was 80 that sweet spot for Ethereum? I think it could personally go lower, honestly, but
I have no clue. I didn't follow ETH that much because Bitcoin has been so volatile that I don't trade ETH that much. On Bitfinex it definitely just broke down. Yeah, that's a breakdown. Man. Yeah. I mean, technically it broke down and retested, probably took out some stops on the daily, and just moved down. Yeah, you don't really have the stop loss, but I wouldn't long this personally. It seems a bit bold. If you look at, I'm not even going to look at the indicator, just price action. But yeah, you're definitely broken down. I don't know, man. I'm not monitoring ETH that much. I definitely like buying the area where there are wicks, because that's where like the people panic puke. But I don't know, man.
So it seems like for you and most other like good traders or that you guys all have in common, it seems like all eyes are on Bitcoin at the moment for obvious reasons. So
Yeah, but
so
I
if
think-
that is the case,
Sorry, I think that like if Bitcoin pumps, ETH is going to pump harder because ETH dropped much harder.
Hard
It's like
as
a
hell.
double-edged sword. So if you get a really nice setup on Bitcoin, I would look at ETH BTC. Like if ETH BTC starts looking good as well, perhaps you get like a fading setup, like I call them, swing failure reversal patterns. So say ETH, which is like currently nearing the lows, and Bitcoin starts giving you reversal clues. Of course, ETH could be an interesting take, right? But it's so much more volatile that if you get burnt, you're gonna get burnt much harder, right?
yeah, most def. Now I know that you mentioned that you weren't really paying much attention to it as well, but I know somebody who always is, and that's Maine. And I thought you had left us for a minute, Maine. Do you have a? Yeah, I know. Are you looking at Ethereum? Have you been following it lately, or what do you see about it? Because that seems like everybody's others catch whenever things start moving is Ethereum is at some juicy prices right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, so here, let me just pull up my screen here and make sure I'm not gonna dox myself. Okay. Dude, I
we had
fucking
to get some
hate
charts from you too, my man.
my fucking MacBook. I swear to God, what the fuck do you want from me?
Man, hey, RPC Jobs, man, do not have him over there coming back to life trying to check on your MacBook, bro. I
Oh
know
my
you
God,
got the
dude.
special for the lifeline to
He
him.
can come find me. I got some shit to say. Do you want me to share my screen or what?
Yeah, sure, yeah, go on, take it over.
Let's see.
So that's the. Sound like you jamming some groovy music in the background too, bro.
Oh yeah, that's a little broader. My bad.
Oh yeah, that's you.
Can everyone see my screen?
Oh my god.
Yes, we can. It's flashing on and off.
Oh God.
I think Wolf may need to give Wolf. See if you could give the control strictly to Maine. So
Yeah, I already have.
Oh yeah.
Okay, everyone can see my shit.
No, not. Yeah, it's gone off now, man.
Oh, hold on.
Right,
Press share one more time.
You know, for how not that old I am, I suck at technology.
there we go. I see it now.
All right, cool. So, yeah, I'm sorry I missed the last couple minutes there. So let's see. On Ethereum, I mean, I think everything looks like shit right now. So, I mean, there's one thing that's sure. Like, the selling that has happened over the last however long it's been, like, it looks like it's slowing down a bit. You know what I mean? What that means, I'm not sure yet. But, like, this is definitely kind of one of the longer sideways periods. I mean, this was kind of okay, but there was, a spike up. Everyone thought this was the bottom, if you guys remember. It wasn't. And now we're kind of having some decent consolidation here going on, or whatever you want to call it. It's definitely not this just like straight, like 2 days of sideways and then dump like 30%.
Plank.
Yeah. So is that a good thing? Maybe, right? My kind of like big high time frame picture is like the bottom is going to take a while to form. It's not going to be some V-shaped reversal that everyone wants it to be. And we're going to be back above 6K, 10K, within a few months. I think what's much more likely is we'll see the volatility dry up and we'll see something like this, like a range form, and we'll stay in that range for a long time. And I do think we will see some sort of move that will be very aggressive and fast to the downside. And then I think it will recover that range again. And that's when the bottom will start forming. I don't think it's going to be this where people are like, oh, it's a V-shaped bottom and now we're going to be back above $150 ETH. Like, I just don't think that's going to happen. But who knows, right? So for me right now, this is the best the 4-hour chart has looked on Bitcoin or Ethereum in a long time. And I mean long in crypto terms, so a few weeks. But it's the nice thing about it, right, is we've got some very nicely defined ranges, right? Like this has been a great range that we've been in for the last week. And this is, 15, 16%. So there's definitely been a lot of day trades to be had here. This is the type of environment that you want to be like range trading and stuff. For me, though, for a major move, I ping all of my swing trades off of the daily chart. So the first kind of like potential daily setup that we had form on Ethereum was this down candle here that led to this move up, right? So I would have drawn that out, my fancy rectangle tool here. And then I bought this retrace, right? But what you want to see after the move is you want to see follow through, right? So when you have the move away, the move back, it can meander around here, but it means nothing until this high gets broken, right? That's when you know the move is legit. That's when you add on and you pile on for your swing trade and you start compounding. And turns out, it just had no gas whatsoever. So we topped out actually right into this kind of block here, basically. And then this thing flipped resistance, right? These order blocks, these rectangles, supply demand zones, whatever you want to talk about them. I get so many people asking me about, which candle is it? For me, I just focus on trying to find the down move that led to the move up, right? Or the up move that led to the move down. I don't try and focus too much on one fucking candle. You'll go crazy trying to have this like rigid rule, like this is the exact candle you need to look at. And they act a lot like support and resistance. I mean, notice that this was support and then like you had a perfect retest as resistance, right? We dumped off. So I'm not going to put a serious swing trade on until I see another candle like this form, right? And then an up move, and I will miss this move. You'll see all of Twitter FOMO into this move, right? Go back in your charts, November 28th, how many people were calling the bottom on Bitcoin and Ethereum? Like so many of you guys are guilty. And I have screenshots to prove it. I remember everything. So
you got it on record
here, right? The exact same day we were like at 4,600 or whatever, 4,500, right? Very nice move. This had a nicer reaction than Ethereum, but again, we dumped through and it didn't hold. So I mean, you can throw your little fib tool on there and be like, okay, where's the 50%? Look how we closed through the 50%. The next day we retested it and we dumped off, right? So these are like how you should be swing trading. You should be focusing on like the daily and the 4-hour chart. So until I see a daily setup form for a long, I'm not going to put on any sort of size on a trade. And that has not happened yet. This was the first opportunity to do so. What does this mean to me? It does mean to me that, okay, now we're actually starting to see some buying, right? Like it's like not like this. Like this is nasty, right? Like how do you get long in here, right? There's no idea. This at least looked like, okay, potentially there could be a reason to long. But what people don't realize is people get too focused on higher lows. Higher lows don't mean anything to me when we're in a massive downtrend. Like higher low. I saw so many people's charts saying, well, look at this. Like I don't give a fuck about that, right? Until this high is broken, every single move has been weak, is just weaker and an opportunity to short higher. And that's been true this entire move down, right? Higher lows here, right? But what do we have? Lower highs. That's what I'm paying attention to. So even though this is a lower low relative to this one, people were still like, oh, but it's a higher low here. I was like, to me, this thing's about to fall off a cliff because we have these lower highs. And it's the opposite in an uptrend, right? Higher lows are more important than the higher highs in the uptrend, for me at least. I don't know if that's a rule, but that's what I focus on. I don't really care about the higher lows initially until we get that higher high. And that's what was missing on Ethereum and on Bitcoin, right? We had the higher low, we had the bullish order block, we had this initial up move. I wait, right? Twitter goes euphoric here. I wait and I see this reaction. I bought this and I put my stop here. And guess what happened? I got stopped out. I don't care though, right? Because the potential upside is at least to like, this would be target 2, right? Target 1 is this high. Right? So if my entry is, here and my stop is right below the level, it's easily a 2-to-1 or better. So it's a low risk trade and I might miss the first little bit of the move. I don't really care, right? Like if the bear market is over and Ethereum's going back to $1,300, if I get in at $100 instead of at 85, I'm not going to worry too much. You know what I mean? So I would much rather, instead of buying this potential breakout, like let's say this just took off, right? And I missed the bottom. I would have got in on a retest. And yeah, I didn't get the absolute bottom, but I had confirmation, right? Because buying on this candle, you have no confirmation yet. Buying here is still like an anticipatory buy that we're going to make a higher high, but we never did. So for Ethereum, this looks like dog shit. I mean, if you want to be honest, all of crypto looks like shit to me right now. But, I do think the selling is getting a little weaker. And I do think we are due for some sort of rally, but when that comes, I don't know. So I've got this range that I'm watching here. Basically, we're at the bottom of it. The way I pick the range, right, after we have an expansive move to the downside, I pick a low and a high, and you want to see the low and the high defended to kind of confirm the range. So you see these wicks below, but we close above it. That to me is a good low. You see the wicks above, but we close below. To me, that means this is a good range, and we have the nice interaction off the 50%. So, I mean, for Ethereum, unless you see something that's like this, and we come above the 50%, that would be bullish, but it's not really bullish until we break above here. So to me, I'm not shorting this thing in the bottom part of the range. Like the way I trade, if I'm trading a range, I look for shorts in the upper half and I look for longs in the lower half. That's just because it makes the most sense from a risk reward perspective. So this is not the time to short. That's for sure. It might drop from here, but I would much rather have confirmation that it drops, a retest of the range or something similar, and then bearish market structure confirming that it's going down, right? Everyone wants that perfect retest. Sometimes you don't get it. Sometimes it might break down from here. I'm going to fuck myself up here. I hate the undo tool, but
yeah, I think that's one of my things. That's one of my things right now, that the not catching the retest. What advice do you have for?
So I mean, this is the dream scenario, right? Perfect retest, right? Or you short there, or you short the break of this low. That's the dream scenario. But sometimes in crypto, it just goes like this, right? And then it maybe bounces here and then continues down. What you want to look for is once this level is broken clean, right? So this is a 4-hour range. You want to see a couple 4-hour candles closing below here. And once it looks like it's broken clean, just look for bearish market structure. So what is that? A low, right? A high. Then you want to see a lower low and then a lower high, right? Now we have bearish market structure. Now zoom in, hop in on a short. So in this instance, you didn't get that retest of up here, but you could have shorted, this pullback here, or this one up into here, or you can wait and just get on board after the fact. There's nothing wrong with not catching the start of the move, right? If F is going to go from $83 to $50, which is kind of the next support area I see, it's not a big deal if you get in and you short it at 75. As long as you get the majority of the move, you should be happy and be able to, take that and walk away and be good with it. So F, I think next support is like $50. If the bulls are, if this is just kind of a fake out of the lows, I wouldn't really touch it until I saw some sort of bullish scenario, which is basically going to be a move up, a higher low into what I would want to see is like a bullish order block. And that would be an opportunity to long. And then you would basically target. This looks like pretty clean highs to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some sort of move to take out these highs. Personally, the type of trader I am, I'm not longing into these highs. I'm waiting for these highs to get run and I'm shorting it. That's just how I do it. I try to trade with the trend as opposed to against it. You have a higher probability. Like my trades in the bear market, I was so accurate on all my shorts. The times I lost money was when I was trying to catch longs because they were counter trend. So Bitcoin, this is the range I'm watching here from like this high to this low, which we're now breaking below. So to me, if this red level here flips resistance, I think we're going to go to 3,000, 2,800 in a hurry. So it's looking pretty ugly to me. Any sort of relief move up into here, I would just short. So that's just me. I mean, if it came up and it broke this, then I might say, okay, we might actually, and yeah, that sucks. I didn't long 3,200, but if we're going back to 6K, I have no problem longing at 3,600 once we make a significant higher high. This would be a more aggressive long if you got long after we broke this high, right? But again, there's no problem waiting for confirmation, especially when we're not in price discovery because we've been here before, but I mean, we're definitely making, constantly new yearly lows. So the people who keep trying to pick the bottom, the entire way down, all I've done is every time a potential bullish order block showed up, I said, okay, it's either going to go like this or it's going to go like this, right? And people go, oh, so it can go up or down. It's like, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to go up or it's going to go down. And it's going to be hinging off of this level, and I'm going to be prepared for it either way. So when this long didn't work out, like you had a perfect opportunity to short a retest. So people need to zoom out. I mean, one of the things I'm learning the more time I spend in crypto is like most people are gamblers. And that's why they like it. It's fast. There's lots of money to be made. You can always be in a trade. Like if you trade FX, if you have like 2 really good trades in a week, you might not trade for the rest of the week. And you know how relaxing that is? Like, what the fuck is the point of being an independent trader? Being like, oh, I'm my own boss. I'm a trader. I do whatever the fuck I want. I can trade from anywhere, but you stare at the chart 10 hours a day anyways. Like, that sounds fucking awful, right? Like, the whole point is so you don't have to stare at the chart the entire time. The easiest way to do that is to just zoom out. And if you don't know what's going on with crypto, just wait for something to form on the daily. Like the daily will not lie. The next big move is going to come from the daily chart. So nowhere else. And if you think you're catching the bottom, look, and you're showing me a 1 hour chart, and go fuck yourself. Like it means jack shit, right? Like every single up move here looked like the bottom on the low time frames.
Yeah. So I got a question. So how often, and that's for all of you guys here, how often do you guys, you all draw these lines, these ranges, all of these things. So how often do you guys clear these charts out and refocus or rebalance your thinking of what the current? Yeah, like how do you guys just kind of draw stuff when you see these big moves and kind of let it play out for a couple of weeks without going over your chart? Or like how do you do that?
I do it quite often. I also have multiple templates with different charts going on. So, but I think it's always a good idea once a week, once every other week to completely delete all the levels off your chart, especially with something like Bitcoin, where you stare at it so much that like the price levels are like ingrained in your memory. Like for people who are trying to learn TA, I tell them to not look at Bitcoin because at Bitcoin for the longest time, you knew 6K was support. So if you're trying to mark up a fresh chart, the first thing you can do is mark 6K. So I think it's a great idea. It helps you, make sure you don't have a bias and you're not staring at some level for too long. I think it's a very, very good thing to do.
Yeah. What do you say, Jules, about that?
Yeah, definitely. I have way too many templates open. Sometimes I have like, I don't know, I have like range charts. Then I have like charts with all the swing highs marked, etc., some levels. Sometimes I just close them all and start from fresh. Oftentimes at the daily close or when I restart the computer, it helps definitely. You don't get stuck in like the same old bias, but sometimes it's good because you have some stuff marked that you maybe forgot. So a couple templates can help definitely. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. Sometimes starting from fresh gives you a clean view.
Yeah. So I mean, this, like I said, this is another great episode. I feel like a lot of good fundamental information was in here, and it was a lot of also good outlooks on certain situations and timings of price movements right now. So another good episode. But what I want to say is what I think is one of the most important things that was said in both of you guys' analysis is besides the correlation to gold and Bitcoin, I think that was interesting. But like Maine said, the trend is your friend. Like if we're in a bear market, and I saw my guy Altcoin Psycho mentioned that earlier in Twitter as well yesterday. I think he said if you journal like my man Jules does and you track your trades, you will notice that most of your losing, you will be surprised that most of your losing trades probably came from you trying to go against the trend. So the trend is your friend, the trend is your amigo. And thank you to one of our own Canadian amigos that just came as a guest, Salsa Tequila, my man Jules. Appreciate that, my brother. And I appreciate the outlook. I appreciate my co-host. I appreciate the listeners as well. Keep joining, keep subscribing. We're over 1,000. We over 1K. Keep it going. Let's keep growing. And thanks to Blues, Clay, my man Wolf. Once again, thanks to Salsa Tequila and Maine. And that is episode 13 of Crypto Dog Pound Unleashed. We will be back next week with another hot guest. Thank you guys for listening, and I'm out.
See you guys. Good episode.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye.